While it may be a bottom-of-the-table clash, there is plenty on the line for the Flames, who've won 2 of their past 4 and will be keen to keep the pressure on the top 4 with back-to-back wins for the first time this season. Jess Webster with you alongside Basketball Australia Hall of Famer Carrie Graf. And Carrie, we have a sequel of this battle from last week, but the question is, will we get a different result?
Yeah, look, I think this is going to be a great ball game tonight. In both encounters, it's been a pretty tough tussle between these two teams, and then Sydney have come out on top in both contests. Most recently, Shyla Hill in great form for the Sydney Flames, coached by her dad, Shane Hill. We saw the banners up there earlier at the Qudos Bank Arena, but I think this one could go down to the wire. For the Capitals, it'll be about, can they keep Bunton out of foul trouble? Can Jade Melbourne stay out of foul trouble? And they could be in with a shot for their first win of the season.
Of course, these two sides have played twice already this season. Shyla Hill, as you mentioned, a season-high 22 points last week when they met. But let's have a chat about Ray Burrell. She had a season-high 27 points against Sydney last time they played last week. And she's going to be crucial for the UC Capitals tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly from a scoring perspective. Look, she can score in a one-on-one situation. Beautiful athlete. You know, she's coming off a rookie season in the WNBA with the LA Sparks. Had a fair bit of injury, so didn't get to play much. Struggled a little bit with injury with the UC Capitals with a knee concern ongoing, but if she can light it up, that'll certainly help the Capitals tonight. You know, critically for them more so than Ray Burrell probably is, can they defend as a team? You know, they know Burrell can score. Perhaps they've got scoring punch in Jade Melbourne. Can they go inside to Bunton? But if they don't defend, they're not going to be in with a shot.
As we take a look at the ladder, and of course these two teams sitting in 7th and 8th position respectively. But Carrie, do we think the top 4 is set at the halfway point of the season?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always risky. Commentators curse. It's like free throws. But, you know, you'd have to say on early season form, the top 4, I think it could stay that way. But having said that, you know, you're 1 or 2 injuries away from going on a losing skid. If you lose a couple of starters, things can turn pretty quickly. A team can get hot. You know, a team like Adelaide could potentially get hot. They've been close to some of the top 4 teams and had a tough schedule to start the season. It could be interesting, but I think that those top 4 are probably going to be what it's going to be.
As we take a look at the Sydney Flames starting 5, led superbly by Keely Froling. She's second in the competition overall for average points per game, 18.7, and she's also first in the competition for 2 points made. She is in outstanding form.
Yeah, that she is. And the big 3 for the Flames, you've got to pick your poison. You know, who are the UC Capitals going to focus on? Is it Hill, is it Willoughby, or is it Froling? And if you can limit one of those 2, you might be in with a shot. As we see the UC Capitals starting lineup, this is they've started in 10 of their games 7 different ways due to injury, imports departing. This starting group has been the starting group for the last 3 games. So hopefully for the UC Capitals, that can be a starting lineup that could get their first win.
And we're all on Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger watch. She's been on the bench the last couple of games for UC Capitals. Do you see her playing any minutes tonight?
Yeah, look, I think she may play. They may test her out for 5-7 minutes. I think she'll be limited minutes if she does get to play. She's coming off a back injury and they're nursing her back. But certainly, in talking to Coach Kristen Veal, they've been impressed with her at practice. She's a veteran. She knows this league. She was 6th Woman of the Year 2 years ago in the hub season in 2020. So they'll be looking to see what she can bring. Is it the game to inject her if this one goes down to the wire?
And you touched on it earlier about UC Capitals have had an unsettled lineup throughout the season. 6 players in the Sydney side have played every game this season. Only 3 for the Capitals have played every game. So do we think that might play a role in this contest tonight?
Yeah, look, I think, Sydney, as you say, they know their starting lineup. They've played the bulk of the games together. Canberra, on the other hand, have had different lineups. They've had to adjust and juggle and play different lineups. But I think tonight, coming off 3 games, I mean, it's a tough one. This is the Capitals' 6th game in 10 days. Massive schedule for them. But I think it'll be all on the line tonight because they know that this is a team that they can actually have a crack at beating.
Absolutely, a big chance for UC tonight to get their first win of the Cygnett WNBL season for Sydney. They're looking for back-to-back wins for the first time this season. Of course, these two sides played just last week, and UC conceded 12 points in the final term. Well, they lost the final term by 12 points last week as Sydney ran over the top of them. But they get first crack tonight. Smart, looking to call the shots. Wants to give it off. It's defended well by Munga Kahia. Gives it back to Burrell. Can she manufacture a long range 2? Can't get it to drop.
Serious mismatch on that rebound. The 6'6" Alex Bunton versus the about 5'6" Shyla Hill in that rebounding contest, but the possession goes Sydney's way. extended pressure here by Sydney. The Sydney Flames will see them extend their pressure at every opportunity, whether that's, the UC Capitals extending here. Jade Melbourne with the match-up early on Shyla Hill.
Gonna love watching that battle. Those two go head-to-head all evening. Here's Froling. What a wonderful player she's been this season. Off to Heel. Looking to go back to Froling. Great pass. Just doesn't have the finish.
Tempo push by the UC Capitals. The woman we spoke about opening the stanza. Can she for the UC Capitals? Not quite. Ray Burrell.
She'll be heading to the line. Ray Burrell, as we mentioned, 27 points, a season high for her against Sydney when they played last week.
And the referees have said, no, it's based out of bounds.
Get another opportunity through Burrell. Shot clock down to 7. Melbourne, again, can't find the basket.
Clearly looks to be part of the UC Capitals' attack is can they get on the rim in their last contest against the Sydney Flames. That was a difference. Sydney had 50 points in the paint to Canberra's, in the 20s. That's a big factor for them. Can they go inside to Bunton down low? Can they get the ball on the rim, as we saw Jade Melbourne then rip to the rim and see if she could score deep in the lane?
Here's Willoughby, still searching for our first bucket of the evening. Willoughby can't get it to drop. So a couple of opportunities for both sides early.
Yeah, look, and she's a rising star of the WNBA as Willoughby. I think she's had an impressive, rookie season here in the WNBL. She plays for the New York Liberty, coached by Australian Opals coach Sandy Brondello. She's a beautiful athlete. She can score in multiple ways. In talking to Coach Shane Heel, he said, she's a student of the game. She works at both ends of the floor.
Averaging 14.8 points per game in her 9 games. Willoughby and Munga from long range. Misfires.
Bunton.
And Bunton finally finds the basket. We've got the first points of the evening.
Backing down the undersized Keely Froling. Big move by Bunton early as it goes inside to Froling, and she scores straight back.
So first couple of minutes with no score, and then these two sides have gone bang, bang, and we're on. Here's Melbourne off to Smart. Back to Burrell. Makes a drive, loses it, regains possession, and now it's a turnover. Melbourne straight into the hands of Willoughby, right down the other end, as easy as you like.
Yeah, big steal by Willoughby. Jade Melbourne won't be happy with that as a point guard. Limiting turnovers is critical for point guards.
Here she is, Melbourne to Bunton. Gets it back. Trying to manufacture something. Flips it over the top to Bunton, working on Froling. Good defense by Froling.
Yeah, she's tough. As you said earlier, she's had an impressive season, 26 points last time against this team. Willoughby looking to light it up early from the three-point line, not to be.
These two sides feeling each other out early. They've played a couple of really great contests, despite Sydney winning 2-0 so far this season. The Capitals have been right in each game. Melbourne flicks it out to Smart for 3.
Foul called on that rebound. Perhaps Alex Bunton doing a great job for the UC Capitals, getting herself, using that big frame to get in close to the rim, coming up with some offensive boards. UC Capitals will take the ball from the side or baseline.
It's got our first substitution of the match. Shervin comes in for the Flames.
Clearly, Coach Shane Hill not liking the early signs of Bunton, wants to get Shervin in for that matchup, I'd say.
It's Melbourne to Munga. And she might have had a foot out of play, out of bounds. So Flames ball.
Thought she was wearing size 10, not size 12 shoes, was Ray Burrell.
Heel.
So you see Capitals switching different matchups on different athletes. They're switching anything with the guards. A clear mismatch there. Shyla Hill launches the 3. Doesn't go. Mangakahia with the putback. Not quite.
And they're still going. The Flames. Willoughby from 3. She can't find the basket either. And Capitals back the other way through Burrell. Inboard looking for Bunton, but they've turned it over. Heel. And take it back the other way for the Flames. They lead by 2, early stages opening term. Froling working on Burrell, and she's got a foul in the process.
Froling will go to the line. She's been huge for the Sydney Flames team. She's, close to averaging a double-double, gets on the boards, fight. She's an exceptional finisher. She gets herself close to the rim. She's shooting it over 50% from the field. Free throws is probably an area she'd like to lift a little, but boy, she had an impressive season.
As we mentioned in the opener, second in the competition for overall points per game, second for offensive rebounds as well. So really doing some fantastic work there, and second for 2-point percentage as well. And her free throw percentage, 68.5%. She has 54 attempts at free throws this season. She's in everything, Keely Froling. So Flames out to a 4-point lead. Munga down the other end for the Capitals, off to Burrell. Looking for an option. In the end, decides for a long range 2 and sinks it.
They needed that one. Ball screen action there with Button. Button on the rim roll to clean up the offensive boards if it missed, and Burrell strokes that 3. Excellent execution by the UC Capitals.
Munga Kahia, big triple. She's found her range early. Melbourne back down the other end. Munga, Burrell makes a drive, just can't find the finish. And ball's out of play, but Capitals will retain possession.
Defense got to be the big focus for the UC Capitals. They got stuck going under a screen there for Munga Kahia, who's shooting the 3-ball really well this season. She was wide open with time and space, found it easy to nail that 3-pointer to give the Flames this 5-point lead early in the first quarter.
Defence certainly the key. 3 teams have scored 100 points against Canberra this season, but positive for them, their last round game against Sydney last week was their lowest score by an opposition this season, despite losing. So some good signs in their last game as Bunton adds 2.
Picks up the scraps. It's a long way down to pick the ball up from 6'6".
So good contest early. Capitals staying in touch with the Flames. Less than 5 to play in the first. It's Heel.
Signature step back by Shyla Hill. Now Burrell on the break.
Almost can't find the finish, but they get the rebound through Bunton. That's why she's so important to this side, and adds 2.
She's had an impressive start for the UC Capitals, using her size, getting close to the rim. If shots are missing, she's getting some putbacks. Easy way to score if you're 6'6". Can you get close to the rim?
Munga Kahia. Pass in board as a turnover. The Capitals looking to steal the lead. Burrell passes in board to Melbourne, and the Capitals are in the lead. Timeout's called.
Love that one as we see them get out on the break. She gets the finish, maybe a foul call, not to be. Timeout called.
So good start here to the Capitals. They lead by a point as we enter timeout of the first. This timeout is brought to you by CTM Sport. If your New Year's resolution is to travel interstate more often with your basketball team, then consider CTM Sport, who provide a competitive, innovative and customised travel solution for all your needs. Make sure you head over to ctmsport.com.au to learn more. And Carrie, I guess for the Capitals, they've been in contest quite a number of times this season, particularly against Sydney. But what's really, I think, important to mention is that last week against Sydney, this week against Sydney, they're coming off a 2-day break both games. Do you think that is maybe a hindrance? Because like I said, they've been in these contests particularly against Sydney all season, but haven't been able to get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's silly to suggest that playing 6 games in 20 days is an easy task. When you've struggled to find a win, when you've had injury after injury, imports out, but absolutely, Sydney have come into the games fresher, and I think we've seen that in the last quarters. There's been where Sydney have made forced the margin out, and where Canberra have been in the game for 3 and a bit quarters. So let's see if they can put all that behind them. But there's no question that that's a factor. You're going to it's a team fresher in the fourth quarter, and both teams now sort of reduced their rotations. They're playing 6 or 7 players play the bulk of the minutes, so that could be a factor as well.
Panousis into the game for the Flames. To Willoughby. Nice pass in for Froling. She makes no mistake.
Tough finish. We saw the UC Capitals there switching. They get a mismatch down low on the post in Keely Froling, come across and trap it, but boy, what an efficient play that is from Keely Froling. She scores from over 50% from the field in tough situations, as we see Burrell on the floor again, can't make it. Munga strokes the three, not to be.
Out of bounds, Flames ball.
The Flames will have the ball. Lead by point, 3.5 minutes to play here in the first. Panousis can work it down the floor. Off to Munga Kahia. And now Froling on the top of the arc. Off to Panousis. And the umpire's made a call.
Foul call on Jade Melbourne, on Willoughby down low. Somewhat of a mismatch inside. Referee deemed that she held her.
And fouls were a factor in the last game that these two sides played. In particular, Jade Melbourne was in a bit of trouble and perhaps cost her some minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Both she and Bunton.
Froling to Panousis. Now back to Willoughby.
Wow.
Makes a charge. How about that from Willoughby?
Some fancy footwork. Willoughby on Burrell. She says, see you later. I'm on the rim. I'm downhill on this one.
Almost unstoppable in that instance. Swain into the action. She misfires. Munga Kahia to clean it up. Willoughby, Shervin. Pass looking for Panousis off the hand of Swain, so it will be a Flames ball. Hasn't Swain been impressive for the UC Capitals in recent times?
Yeah, she has, Jess. You know, she's didn't play a lot last year for the UC Capitals, carried a stress fracture injury for a fair bit of the season. Young player like Jade Melbourne out of the centre of excellence, but she's really, you know, one of the shining lights for the, you know, Capitals haven't managed to win a game, but Swain has been impressive, and particularly so off the bench.
And I want a big performance from her this evening as Panousis tries for a long-range three. Can't find the basket. Quick transfer of play. Swain, long searching pass. Smart comes up with it. Bunton. Back to Swain. Out to Smart. Now inboard. Bunton keeps it alive. Shot clock counting down. Swain for three. Well, they worked it out eventually.
She's got to call some sort of bank there. NAB, Westpac, Combank, one of the three. But boy, hey, we'll take the 3 points, say the UC Capitals.
Scores a level as heel. Inboard to Froling. That is beautiful to watch.
Haven't got an answer, the UC Capitals, for Keely Froling at the moment. She just finds a way. She's efficient down low. So they trap Jade Melbourne. She gets out of trouble, gets out of that.
Melbourne goes herself off the rim. Shervin cleans it up. Flames down the other end through heel. They lead by 2, less than 2 to play in the first term as heel wears some contact and gets fouled.
Bunton, that foul's on Bunton, I think.
UC Capitals foul 2.
Critical the way she's playing at the moment for her to stay on the floor, stay out of foul trouble. Looked like she tried to maintain space, but Shyla Hill's pretty savvy at using her body, trying to draw a foul, as we see it again here. Uses the ball screen, they switch onto it.
Bunton up to 6 points already for the Capitals. Definitely needs to stay out of trouble. Shyla Hill to the line.
Strokes the first. Career 82% free throw shooter is Shyla Hill, down a little this year at 69%, but she makes both of those to give her team a 4-point lead.
So important last minute or so here for the Capitals. They need to stay in touch with the Flames. Play a 4-quarter performance if they're to get their first win of the season. Here's Melbourne. Out to Swain, steps back for the 3 ball.
Feeling it. Shanice Swain is feeling it. Big basket for the UC Capitals.
So important for her confidence and the confidence of the Capitals to sink these ones early. Meanwhile, Rowe down the other end, bounces off the rim. Melbourne with the rebound. Final minute of the opening term. Flames up by a point. As Melbourne
Draws a foul on Panousis. She'll go to the line for 2, I think. Smart play by Jade Melbourne. Got herself on the rim knowing that they're going to get another possession. Sydney will play out of possession. They'll get another possession to finish this first quarter. Can they go into the quarter with momentum?
Have you seen her development, Jade Melbourne? Such a bright young star, of course, drafted to the WNBA earlier this season, delayed the move by 12 months. Can't wait to see her in that competition.
Yeah, look, she's, you know, I mean, she's a young, you know, people keep saying, oh, she's a young star. Yes, she is, but a star is a star. You know, it's been talked about Shyla Hill previously and still this young guard cohort, but, you know, they're exciting in different ways. You know, Melbourne's got a bit of size on her. She's a wonderful show person in that you can see how much she loves the game, and I think that'll fit right in the WNBA. She won't get to play much in her rookie season, I don't imagine, but it'll be a great experience for her.
Certainly can't wait to watch her rise over many, many years. Jade Melbourne makes those free throws and Capitals regain their lead. Panousis to Shervin. Shot clock counting down as Heel can't find the finish.
Big board by Pizzi. Last possession here for the UC Capitals. What will they go to? Perhaps a ball screen action, some horns action we see for Jade Melbourne.
Melbourne almost turns it over, regains possession. Munga out to Swain. Can she hit a 3 again? Can't do so on the quarter time buzzer, but it's been an entertaining contest so far in the opening term. The Capitals, by the slimmest of margins, 18, lead the Flames 17 at the first break. Carrie Graff.
Yeah, look, what a quarter of basketball. Entertaining, started a little slow in terms of neither team being able to get a basket to drop, but boy, we had some big plays. Bunton early for the UC Capitals, used her size to get inside, made an impact at both ends of the floor, but it was all Keely Froling for the Sydney Flames. She was so efficient inside. We saw Burrell get involved early. A couple of break baskets for both teams, little turnovers, little finishes. Bunton, but boy, she's been impressive. They need more of that from her. Close to the rim, use her size on the break for the UC Capitals, but for them to lead this quarter is a biggie. Wow, she's been the one. Keely Froling finds a way against double teams. Willoughby athletically against Burrell.
So your top scorers for the Sydney Flames, Froling, as you mentioned, 8 points. She started well. Willoughby has 4 to her name, and for the Capitals, Bunton started like house on fire, really, with 6 points, and then Swain a couple of big 3-pointers. She's up to 6 as well for the UC Capitals, and that'll be important for UC to get some points off the bench that actually lead this statistic against Sydney, coming up against Sydney. 176 to 71 in bench points. Largely, I think, due to Swain coming off the bench and really having an impact.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been impressive, and probably too that they've had so many different starting lineups that there's been a lot of people,
of course,
in and out off the bench. But you know, we called it early. This one's going to be a ball game. I think this one of the third contest, we've talked about it. This is the third time these two teams have played since December 10th. You know, so they know each other well, having played. They've both been down the bottom, the wrong end of the ladder. But if you were just watching this and didn't know the ladder standings, you would not think this is two of the teams that are sitting at the bottom of the WNBL ladder. You know, there's talent on both teams. They're both reasonably youngish teams. They've had a lot of upheaval. Both have had pretty tough schedules to start the season. A lot of games on the road early. We've talked about UC Capitals made loads of injuries. Similarly with you know, Sydney, it hasn't been to their major players, but they've had a little bit of turnover and some different people in on their roster. But watching this is a ball game. This is the quality of the Cygnett WNBL.
We're certainly getting the contest that we hoped for early stages as the second term gets underway, and it's UC with a first opportunity through Swain.
That's 8 points for her. She's on fire.
Started extremely well. It's Heel back down the other end for the Flames. Gives it off to Willoughby. She works hard towards the basket. Can't get it to fall.
Pizzi with that big board, playing against her old team. She was at the Sydney Flames last season as Britt Smart. Doesn't like her chances putting it on the floor there.
It's Melbourne, gives it back to Smart. And now Pizzi. Here's Munga. Inboard to Pizzi.
Keely Froling just stands her up. Smart play by Froling. Didn't foul, had a body in great position.
So the Capitals by 3 to start the second term. Froling to inbound for the Flames.
One of the great basketballing families, the Frolings. Keely, twin sister Alicia, plays for the Bendigo Spirit. Her brothers play in the NBL. Her mum and dad both played in the NBL and WNBL. Her mum also refereed in the WNBL. And her dad's been an assistant coach in the NBL as well.
Sporting talent to be envious of, I think. Wouldn't mind some of that talent myself. So umpire's call down the other end. Smart's not happy about it.
See that on the replay.
Smart against Mungaki here.
Extended pressure by the UC Capitals. See if they can delay the clock a bit. Jade Melbourne, can she use her length and get into Shyla Hill?
Hill gives it off to Mungaki here. Big shot coming, deep range too. Just couldn't find it.
Kristen Veal won't be happy with that defence. Got stuck underneath that screen. Make her hair wide open threes. We'll see Button rim roll and sucker a foul on Willoughby.
Great vision from Melbourne. That pass inside the paint. So Button to head to the line and extend this Capitals lead.
Back iron's the first one.
73% free throw percentage this season for Alex Bunton.
Yeah, which is a nice uplift on her 62% career free throw shooting. That's impressive for her. She makes the back end of that one.
So all of a sudden it's the Capitals with a 4-point lead. Flames looking to respond. Here's Willoughby. Across to Rowe and now to Heel.
You see Capitals continually switch amongst their smalls.
It's really hard to stop Heel. She adds 2 to her tally.
Straight back at you, says Swain, but she can't finish the fast break layup.
And trying to rip it from Willoughby. Good luck trying to do that.
Yeah, I don't fancy a chance in that one. There's a fair bit of strength, I think, with Jocelyn Willoughby.
So what are you liking early here from the Capitals? You mentioned defense off the top. Have you been impressed with that in their start to this game?
Look, I think their scheme is causing a little bit of disruption for Sydney. They're playing small balls, switching like to like. Mostly the guards leaving Button at home when they can. Coach Kristen Veal won't be happy. They're getting hung up on some screens and leaving shooters open at times, and she won't be happy with that. Shyla Hill and Keely Froling in 2 games are unbelievable, and that's what hurt them down the stretch in their loss a week ago. You know, they've got to find a way to go to plan A, plan B, plan C in their ball screen defense against those 2 in particular. But having said that, it's all tied up.
And we see that combination between Heel and Froling a couple of times.
Burrell on the rim, finger roll down on the front of the rim. Wow, that was athletic.
She's a joy to watch. Heel. She's also a joy to watch. Kicks it back out to Willoughby for a 3. Misfires. Capitals clean it up. Munga. Run it down the other end. Off to Melbourne. Munga wide open for a triple.
Huge shot. We see both point guards almost mirror image play. Shyla Hill down this end earlier. Dribbled it in, pitched it out to Willoughby for a similar shot. Jade Mel comes down, says, I got a bit of that too, spits it out to Munga for a massive 3 for the UC Capitals.
Munga here. Flares it across to Heel. Froling. Back out to Willoughby. Goes herself. Oh, just bounces out. Froling gets the rebound.
Gosh, when Willoughby takes off, she's quick. She can get herself on the rim. 1 dribble, 2 steps, she's right up on the rim. And the woman we've been speaking about all through that first quarter that plays both ends of the floor, does the hard work and finds the finish in Keely Froling. You know, if you put yourself in great position to rebound, you're going to come up with some great stats, and Keely Froling certainly does that.
Up to 10 points now for Keely Froling. She's off to the line for potentially a couple more.
And she had 26 points in their last contest just a week ago against the UC Capitals. They're going to have to find a way to limit her.
Heel. to Willoughby. Again, that explosiveness, but I think she stepped out of court.
Or maybe I think they've called a foul on Munga. Said she didn't get her feet there. Pushing foul. Ball will go to the baseline for the Sydney Flames.
A season high 26 points, Jocelyn Willoughby against the Lynx a few weeks ago.
She's a hard player to defend once she puts that ball on the floor and gets ahead of steam.
Heel to inbound, loops it over to Froling. Back to Heel. And yes, it's going to be a turnover, so an offensive foul called.
Offensive foul on Shervin. The referee deemed on the roll down. She pinned Jade Melbourne under that screen. It's a tough call sometimes for the referees and for the bigger athletes when they're trying to roll down and follow their coach's schemes, but the referees deemed that was illegal.
So Capitals lead by 5. 6 minutes to play in the second as we get another timeout here. So the Capitals have started well in this second term. This timeout is brought to you by Cygnett. Never miss a minute of the WNBL social highlights and news with Cygnett's extensive range of charging products and digital accessories to keep your favourite tech charged up at home or on the go. We wouldn't be here without Cygnett, so as always, a big thank you to our value partner for powering the WNBL with high-quality tech this season. Make sure you explore their range at cygnett.com. So put your coach's hat on, Carrie Graff. I'm sure you've got it still at home somewhere. What will be the coach's messages during this timeout?
Coaching suit, perhaps, but I did wear a hat this evening. Look, the coach is going to be reasonably happy with it. I think, the screen defence, I don't think Coach Kristen Veal will be happy with. They've got caught up too often on getting caught under picks and giving Sydney wide open shots. They've definitely got to do something with the 2-game between Shyla Heel and Keely Froling, and they've got to find a way to keep Keely Froling off the glass and getting deep catches. Conversely, though, Capitals are 5 points up. Shane Heal's he'll probably look to try and crank up the defence, maybe throw something a little bit different at them, but they haven't had an opportunity to extend their defence as they normally like to do. There hasn't been a lot of free throws yet in the game. He might just be trying to tidy a few things up for them defensively.
So the Capitals leading the rebounds 16 to 11. 12 of those have been defensive rebounds. And they lead by 5 as Melbourne gives it off to Pizzi. Tonks. And now Bunton. Burrell. Searching pass, but it's a little bit wayward. Out of play.
They get a chance to extend their defence here. I mean, if you're going to throw it, if it's going to be a turnover, at least you get to set up your defence rather than a pass that's too flat to a big player, and it creates a fast break opportunity for the other team. But Ray Burrell wasn't happy with herself on that pass.
Heel trying to manufacture something for the Flames. Gives it off to Willoughby, and that's how you manufacture something, is give it to Jocelyn Willoughby.
Absolutely, and I'm sure Coach Shane Hill, that was the play diagrammed out of the timeout. Well executed, not well defended by the UC Capitals. Willoughby wide open. Little horns action. Well, she had a hand on it and they've called a foul, but tough finish.
So Willoughby to the line.
For the 4-point play. Ouch.
And that does hurt. It's a classic coach killer, isn't it?
It's a way to kill that deficit in one play.
The margin is back to a point. It's important here for the Capitals to make sure their heads remain in the game. It's very hard when you've lost 10 in a row to believe that you can win and make sure that you stay positive and stay disciplined.
Yeah, absolutely. And just play the game, play each moment. Like I say, momentum basketball's a game of momentum, and it's you got to kill any confidence or previous stuff. It's what's happening in this moment in this game. Stick to the game plan, make adjustments.
Willoughby can't convert on that occasion, and it's a turnover. Swain.
Bunton with a little slip on the ball screen action there. Lost the handle on it. Likes her chances of backing down Shervin with her little step away post move, and the foul's called on Shervin.
So Good play from Bunton.
Number 24, Hannah Shervin. Her second.
She's going to head to the line. Played all 10 games this season. As we mentioned earlier, UC Capital's just been a little bit unsettled this season. Only 3 players have played every game. That's Bunton, Pizzi and Tonks. Sydney, meanwhile, have 6 players that have played all 9 of their games.
Yeah, it's been the story of their season. Injury, import departing. As we've said, in their 10 games, they've had 7 different starting lineups. It's hard to get any momentum or a real sense and rhythm as a team when you've got that much change. But
so Alex Bunton, just the 2 points against Southside 2 nights ago in their last game. But she's already started well, up to 8 now for the Capitals as we enter the final 5 minutes of the first half. Capitals have held on to a 3-point lead.
it's the extended pressure there. Looks like extended pressure back to a zone. Shyla Hill likes a look at that. Thank you very much. I'll take a 3, she says.
And scores a level. The right player for the right moment is Shyla Hill. Sinks a big 3-pointer. What have the Capitals got in response? Munga working on Munga Kahia.
Sydney really lifted their defensive intensity out of that last timeout.
Bunton at the top of the arc, gives it to Swain from downtown. Unbelievable from Swain.
Wow, 3 of 4 from the 3-point line so far. Swain, wow.
My goodness, Heel at the other end. Can't make it count. I'm still thinking, I'm going to be thinking about that shot for a long time, I think, Carrie Graf.
She's feeling it. She's got confidence. You know, you talked about confidence earlier. Well, that says I'm feeling it. I'm hitting a shot. I'm going to take it. Shot clock was running down. As offensive foul called on Alex Bunton.
We get another look of that. Here it is. That is a long-range 3
from the car park.
When you're on, you're on.
At Qudos Bank Arena. That car park's a long way away too in an arena that size. What a ball game. We said, you know, you're watching this game, there's no way you're watching this game thinking these are the 2 bottom teams in the WNBL as Munga Kahia launches the 3.
The Flames get it back through a heel. Munga Kahia, take 2. Will she go for the 3 again this time? Makes a drive off the window and has got it this time.
Nice finish, Munga Kahia.
Quick play from the Capitals as Melbourne wears some contact. No call from the umpire. Swain for another 3, not this time. Frolling with the rebound. Flames through heel. Willoughby.
Tempo's hot right now. It's up and down, quick action 3s. Munga Kahia with the crossover. Pizzi with the board.
Munga. Tick down to the last 3 minutes of the second term. Gives it to Swain, and why not in the form she's in. The umpire doesn't make a call there, and they've turned it over, so Froling gives it to Willoughby. Bounces it towards Froling. Good defense, but she gets it back. Froling.
Tough post play.
Willoughby.
Someone's put Gladwrap on the rim at both ends.
There's Melbourne to Swain. Can't find the basket. They win it back. Swain, well, you may as well shoot it from 3 where you're in the form that Shanice Swain is in.
Wow, wow, wow. Shanice Swain.
Get another look at this.
She thought about it for a moment, and then she went, you know what?
I'm knocking them down from the 3 range, so why not?
Toes on the line.
Oh, she is on fire. Shanice Swain. 3 out of 6 3-pointers so far as we have another timeout here with 2 minutes to play in the second. The Capitals up by 4 points, and they've been good so far. So take a look at some of the top scorers. Froling up to 10 for the Flames, and Swain, as we mentioned, leading all comers with 14.
Yeah, look, and I think the big thing too for the UC Capitals is that they're holding Sydney Flames to a score that they can beat. Right now it's 30. You know, maybe that gets to 34, 36 at halftime. That's a winnable score. If they could keep a team like Sydney Flames to 70, that's a score they can beat.
So it's 4 3-pointers in fact to Swain. Stats have just refreshed in front of me. So she leads her side with 14 points. Bunton with 9 as well for the Capitals. Frolling up to 10 for the Flames. And Willoughby with 8 as well. So a bit of work to do here by the Flames. They've won twice against the Capitals so far this season. And prior to that, the Capitals held a 5-game winning streak over Sydney before this season. So they're looking to break their drought.
See the Capitals here in a 2-3 zone out of that timeout. Willoughby in the corner for 3. Can't answer, but Kira Rowe keeps it alive.
Has coughed it up to Melbourne. She gives it off to Bunton, but they can't convert. Down the other end, Heel to Frolling.
And that's Schwagmeyer we're seeing with her first minutes.
It is, in fact, you're right. So we're finally getting to see Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger
against her old team. A little nervous on that fast break finish.
Caught me off guard. We've been waiting for it. Here she is. Working on Rowe. And can't get the finish. Has not played in the WNBL since 2020 when she did play for Sydney. So great to see her out. There is Heel. That's a big 3.
Timeout called by Kristen Veal. She wants to kill this momentum straight away.
So margin back to a point. The Capitals keeping their noses in front, 34-33. Final minute to play in this opening half.
Interesting to see what the coaches do out of this timeout. It's a 3-possession game. You'd suggest that there's 3 possessions to go with 52 seconds to play in this into halftime. What is it that they want to tidy up on defense? Who do they want to keep the ball out of? Right now you'd say Shyla Hill's got the hot hand. You've got to keep the ball out of her hands if you can. You can't let Kelly Frolling get on the boards. And what is it that Coach Kristen Veal in shot there? What is it that she wants her team to execute offensively? Schwagmeyer, Belgium, probably forced a little bit there in her first minutes back on the floor. Sometimes you can be a little, in a bit of a hurry to try and score, but good timeout hit by Coach Kristen Veal to try and pull that momentum straight away, see if her team can go into halftime with a little lead. But all the focus here, I imagine, will be on defense. What is it that they can do? Are they going to stay zone? Are they going to go back to their switching man-to-man? Let's see what happens in this last minute of this first half.
You think the Capitals are better than their ladder position suggests? I mean, do you expect them to go an entire season without a win?
You wouldn't expect anyone to, but you look at what's happened to them in terms of players out, players in, injuries. It's tough, and then I think as you mentioned earlier, once you haven't got a win, it becomes a bit of a mindset, a mind game about if we're in situations where they're winnable, do we know how to win? And that may well be what we see here. Can they keep their noses in the front? Can they find a way to try and score down the stretch? Schwagmeyer-Belger forces that one, can't find a basket. Nice block by the Sydney Flames.
So Heel from the top of the arc, assessing her options.
2-3 zone again by the UC Capitals.
Oh, a nice 3 from the corner. I think that's Allen out there.
Massive shot. Says, I'll shoot this in your zone.
So Flames up by 2. They've done really well to regain the lead here in the second term. Schwagmeyer-Belger can't find the basket on that occasion, and that'll do us for the opening half here at Qudos Bank Arena. What a contest we've seen in this opening half. It is the Flames 36 leading the Capitals 34 after UC have led the majority of that second term. Carrie Graff, what did you make of all of that?
Look, there was a lot of up and down. We saw UC Capitals, I mean, we saw some big shots. Physical contest. Shyla Hill was impressive in that quarter for the Sydney Flames. Got on the rim, made some great feeds. That some of the 2-game action between she and Keely Frolling was superb. UC Capitals at the other end found a way to score. They had got a bit of run on. Shanice Swain was the one though, hitting the threes for the UC Capitals. Wide open was Willoughby a few times. Shyla Hill got hot down the stretch.
Always in the right place at the right moment, Charlotte Hill. Or when you want someone to stand up, she's there knocking down threes.
Absolutely, it's what their big three have done. We talked about their big three: and Shyla Hill, Killy Froling, Jocelyn Willoughby. You know, those three have come to play. They're a handful. You've got to try and, you know, can you limit one of them? We saw, you know, Sydney Flames really blew open that zone. They got wide open three-point shots and made them. You know, that's always a risk when you go to a zone. Can the other team hit their perimeter shots? And that they did.
So your top scorers for each side for Sydney, Froling and Heel up to 10 each, and for the Capitals, Swain leading away with 14 and Bunton with 9 as well. Well, hold on to your hats. Do not go anywhere. We've got a massive second half coming up next. Can UC find their first win of the season, or can Sydney make it 2 in a row for the first time? All the second half action coming up after this.
Froling sisters will come together mid-court. Alicia the elder by 7 minutes. They'll have nothing more than ripping into each other. It's always fun to watch. For Sydney, can they come up with one of their own? Froling drives, her sister's there, and makes the stop.
Kayla George is having an outstanding season.
George, 3 ball goes up and in.
5 seconds on the shot clock.
Here's a chance, and nails it.
Steph Reid to be able to shoot the ball from the perimeter. They're trying to go underneath ball screens, or at least they did the initial one on that possession.
So she found her way through on that occasion, had to work for it.
Mind her trying to play back to basket against Steph Reid with the strength mismatch.
Reid down the other end makes it pay. McSpadden to Reid. She wants another 3. This time nails it.
Wilson to Wilson to Griffin, and there it is.
Big moments arise and you need a big play. You just see her going, hello, I can do this.
Extra pass, Goodchild for 3. What about the triple? Tries to take Talbot off the dribble. Good pass to Goodchild. Second 3 ball drops for her. George, extra pass. Goodchild has 2 triples already.
There were a lot of credit for that.
Backs it out, steps out for a 3, and it goes.
There she goes.
Prepare your taste buds.
Hungry?
Famished.
For 6 delicious nights on 9.
Dare to replicate the snack.
Australia's best chefs. Head-to-head, recreating our most iconic snacks.
I think I stuffed this up. Get it together. I know you've got this.
It looks like salt and pepper calamari.
New Snack Masters. Stream the latest episodes on 9 now.
You know, they don't teach in PI schools how to get the money shot.
They're undercover.
What are you doing?
That is how you get the money shot.
Cracking cases
Nothing says I'm stalking you like a hidden camera.
the old-fashioned way. Jason Priestley.
Are you nuts?
It's a rental.
Private Eyes. Stream complete seasons on 9 now.
Who is the coach?
Sarah. Sarah Blitzhoffs. Absolutely Cheryl's favourite, and I'll be more than happy to say that.
No favourites. Taya Burrows. Mia. The coach's favourite? Me! Easily.
From Australia, the Nasty Coconuts and
Can the bromance reignite?
The show must go on.
Summer's greatest epic is coming.
So baby, in 90 days, we're gonna be husband and wife.
I was with her for 5 days, and then I proposed to her.
She's so eager to be in love, she lets red flags just go.
People say 19-year-old, she's just using you. Maybe she could be.
90 Day Fiancé. Get your summer streaming on 9 now.
Hi Hoopers, I'm Tess Madgen. I'm so excited to be offering virtual masterclasses this school holidays with She Hoops. Starting on the 9th of January at 5:30 p.m. every Monday night. In this 5-week series, we will be delivering a range of basketball skills. I will also take you through a number of mobility skills designed to keep your body active and engaged. And the best part is that it's free. Go to shehoops.com.au to register now and secure your spot.
Expect the unexpected.
It's summer's greatest show.
Best point of the match.
And he is the greatest showman.
What an athlete.
What a play.
King Nick leads the Aussie assault.
This one is for country.
Ladies and gentlemen, take your seats.
The truth is,
you're always better off with a really good lie.
Pretty Little Liars. Get your summer streaming on 9 now.
Can everyone line up?
Make Brixmas memories on 9 now.
Have you been good boys?
Magical creations.
Attack that Lego.
Will blow your mind.
That's a really great hip one.
Who will be Brixmas champion?
Deck the halls with something, something.
Stream now on 9 now. It's the biggest WNBL season yet, and superstar Lauren Jackson returns. Don't miss a block, basket, or game winner.
Just not steal the win.
WNBL, live on 9 now.
Looking for something to keep the kids entertained these school holidays?
Listen to the roar of that crowd.
Come and watch Australia's elite female basketballers in action as they battle it out for championship glory in the Cygnett WNBL.
Good.
That's a good shot.
Tickets available now. To book your seat, visit WNBL.basketball.
Every girl's gotta have a hobby.
Veronica, why does trouble follow you around?
Veronica Mars, get your summer streaming on 9 now.
For over a century, I have lived in secret until now.
What are you? The Vampire Diaries. Get your summer streaming on 9 now.
first half, the Sydney Flames made a late charge in that second term to regain the lead. Jess Webster and Carrie Graff with you in commentary. And Carrie, the other statistic that screams out to me is the Capitals are also the worst team from a three-point range, averaging 28% through their first 9 games. Today, they're shooting at 42% for three-pointers.
Yeah, that's been a big difference for them. When you can make shots, that gives you a bit of confidence. But I think the thing they'll be most happy with, other than maybe the last minute and a bit down the stretch defensively, was their defence. You know, right now, Sydney at 36, let's say they get 36 for the second half. You're looking at a 70, 75-point ball game. That's a score, the UC Capitals, that's a score that they can beat. You know, they've struggled. We've talked about it through the course of the game. They've had 3 games where early in the season where teams scored over 100. Teams, you know, they're lucky to hold teams to 90. So that will be pleasing for Coach Kristen Veal. Let's see if they can do more of the same in this third quarter.
The Capitals also, they average 4 three-pointers a game, and they're on their average this evening. It is Shanice Swain who has all 4. She has shot 4 out of 7 three-pointers. And she has certainly found her range. So the Capitals trail by 2 points at halftime. The Flames have won 2 of their past 4. Both their wins have come against the Capitals. The Capitals, of course, searching for the first win of the season. This is going to go down to the wire as Froling gets us underway in the second half. Off to Heel, now to Willoughby. Looking to get her side off to a good start in the second half. Back to Heel and now to Froling. She's been in super form to start the first half. So is Heel. Now to Froling from long range. Just pulls up a little short.
Yeah, not a big, you know, Froling's so efficient inside. She has got a decent perimeter shot, but boy, has she been efficient inside. As you say, that one falling short as we see Munga look to attack for the UC Caps, button down low like she started the game. Can't draw the foul from Keely Froling.
Who gives it off to Munga Kahia. Back to Froling at the top of the arc. To Heel. Drives in board to Froling. This time just couldn't execute.
Tough to guard those two in a 2 game. Shyla Heel and Keely Froling know each other well, play well together in any ball screen or 2 game action.
He is smart. Gives it off to Munga, gets it back. Now kicks it out to Melbourne. She's offline.
Button can't get the handle on that offensive board as Munga Kahia pulls up for 3 on the break. Rattles it in.
Couple of Capitals catapult. They're okay, back to their feet. Great shot from Munga Kahia.
And there's a foul call as well. Not sure what that was. Hard to see, but it looked like there was a foul call.
It's a Capitals ball nonetheless. Munga off to Burrell. Now to Bunton. Here's Melbourne, back to Bunton for a long range 2. Bounces off the rim. Munga Kahia cleans it up. Her Flames out now to a 5-point lead.
Big defensive stop required by the UC Capitals here. Momentum certainly with the Sydney Flames here.
Can they stop Heel? Or will she find the basket? It bounces out. And Burrell back the other way. Well, there's a deflection in there. They get it back, though. Munga for 2.
Needed that. Stayed on the play. Found it cheap, too.
Go, Flames, go.
Heel. Munga Kahia. Back to Froling. Now to Heel. Swings it across to Munga Kahia. The shot clock ticks down. Needs to put up a shot.
Good defense by the UC Caps. Close to the shot clock. Jade Melbourne happy to walk it down. Set up an offensive set for her team.
They need to keep up that pressure. Melbourne off to Burrell. She drives, and that is a tough shot to execute, and did it well.
Floats it in for the UC Caps. Little side pick in the roll there with Button. Gets on the front of the rim, uses her length.
Back to within a point. Here's Heel. Calling the shots. So go herself for 3.
Tough off the ball screen, too deep defensively. The UC Caps allowed her just to get a little step back and stroke the 3, one of her preferred moves. She's exceptional at it.
Burrell makes heavy contact.
Kira Rose called for the foul.
The foul is on the Flames, number 10, Kira Rose.
Out of 42. In fact, she's not going to the line. She just gets it from the baseline. My mistake is Melbourne. Gives it off to Burrell. Now goes herself, just a little short. And Willoughby cleans it up, charges back the other way. Swings it across to Mungaka here, back to Willoughby. And she's turned it over.
Tough move, well defended by Munga. Button cleans up the defensive boards for the UC Capitals.
Melbourne to Smart, back to Melbourne. It's a little too hot on the pass. Mungaka here to Heel. Now to Froling from long range.
Makes the adjustment short on the first one. Nails that 3. She says, I can do it from outside as well as inside. Big bucket to get a 7-point lead for the Sydney Flames.
She's up to 13, and that lead now creeping out for the Flames. Capitals need a response. Can Burrell be the person to deliver?
Foul call, potentially on Keely Froling. Keely Froling's second foul.
Burrell heads to the bench for a rest. 5 minutes left in this third term. Really important minutes for the Capitals. They've been really good in the first half. They can't let the Flames and their lead creep out as Smart shares it with Bunton. Now to Melbourne, who drives towards the basket. That's a great 2.
Needed that. They moved the ball around. Jade Melbourne got herself deep in the lane for the easy score. Critical now that they get some defense done, the UC Capitals. It's all got to happen at this end.
Allen back to Heel.
Remain with their switching man-to-man. Heel on the little step back. Can't find the 3 on that one.
So an opportunity for the Capitals just to creep a little bit closer. What can Munga produce?
Button likes her chances against Shervin, who bats it away.
She called for it, but well done to Shervin. Won the ball and gives it off to Heel. So chance gone begging for UC. Heel bounces it to Froling, just a little short on that attempt. Wins another offensive rebound. She's so good at that. Second in the league for those. Munga Kahia, all alone at the top of the arc. Shervin with the rebound to Heel, who finishes.
And 1. Foul called on Britt Smart, I believe. Shyla Hill go to the free throw line to convert, as we see it here.
Back into the ball game. Bestie for Bestie. Vanessa Caduceus.
So a few danger signs perhaps for the Capitals. Timeout is called, just trying to arrest some of this momentum. It's the Flames now by 7 points. And this timeout is brought to you by DIY Blinds. Head to DIYblinds.com.au to order your free samples today and fit out your home with Australian-made, designer-quality window furnishings at the best prices. So Carrie Graff. The Flames have really got the match on their terms in this third period. They've been impressive.
Yeah, they have. Look, and I think they got the momentum back to come into halftime. A couple of big threes against the zone. Now they've pushed out the lead. Shyla Hill's really feeling it. She's stepping back from the three-point line, taking big shots, putting it on the floor. They've got to find a way to slow her down. You know, she's the head of this team. She scores for them. She can distribute. She can get the ball in the lane and spit it out to other shooters. Kelly Froling, we saw her do all the work in the first half. Inside finishes, offensive boards. Then she steps out in this championship third quarter and strokes the three. It's got to be all about the defence for the UC Capitals. Can they hold this team to a limiting score? Can they keep them in the low 70s? Give themselves an opportunity to get a win.
They played Sydney last week and again this week, both times coming off 2-day breaks. Of course, they played Southside a couple of nights ago and went down on Wednesday night. So they haven't exactly been fresh every time they've come up against Sydney, but credit to Sydney as Heel from the line makes it count. So 8-point lead now to the Sydney Flames. The Capitals, they need to stay in this one. Melbourne stepped out of court.
Pleading with the referee that she was getting a jersey held.
Costly turnover to the Capitals. They've just lost their way a little bit in this third term.
Yeah,
they were impressive in the first half, but it's just all starting to unravel. They really need someone to stand up and arrest this momentum. As Panousis back on for the Flames, gives it to Heel. Passes inboard to Froling. We've seen that on many occasions, and we've seen that on many occasions from Keely Froling.
Switching, she's like, sure, switch all you like. I'll take the mismatch inside and get an easy 2 points.
Quick play down the other end. Swain makes an attempt, draws some contact.
She'll go the foul line here. We see too easy for Keely Froling against the undersized Jade Melbourne. Big mismatch. Button could have come down and double teamed that one, made her spit the ball out.
Swain, she started like a house on fire. 14 points at half-time, including 4 3-pointers. But hasn't really had an impact here in the third.
Jade Melbourne pinged for the reaching foul, gets her hands in, trying to make something happen defensively for her team. Foul called.
For those watching, we have unfortunately lost our clock. We've got about 3.5 minutes to play in this third term. That lead now out to a game-high 8 points. Flames have come out since halftime and have really owned this contest. It's Panousis trying to make something happen. To Shervin, has a fumble, regains possession. Back out to Panousis. Can't get the three.
Sigh of relief for the UC Capitals. That would have hurt, that three. Push it out to 11. Can they score on this play? Repeat. Foul, a mirror image there. Shyla Hill digging her hands in on Jade Melbourne. She gets called for the foul. Neither of them believe they fouled each other. Referee said, yes, you did.
They never do. They always try and get the umpire, the referee, to change their mind, don't they? So Jade Melbourne at the throw line.
The bonus now. Sydney Flames are over their foul count of 4. Melbourne to the free throw line. Can the UC Capitals take advantage of this now that they're in bonus? Can they draw fouls, get themselves some cheap baskets from the free throw line? Back to 6. Just under 3 minutes to play.
Here's Heel. Swings it across to Froling. Just offline. Melbourne, Panousis defending her. Margin at 6 points. Melbourne to Munga. Capitals desperately need some points. Munga can't provide.
Tempo push, Shyla Hill pushing tempo, spits it out to Panousis, who launches the three.
He's missed a second attempt. Swain, she knows how to shoot threes. Gives it off this time to Bunton. Now to Melbourne.
We'll get back to it.
Mismatch down low. Panousis found herself on Button. Massive mismatch. They're in bonus. You see Capitals go to the free throw line. Massive free throws here for Alex Button. Just under 3 minutes to go in this third quarter. down 6.
Bring the noise, Flames fans.
So it was UC by a point at quarter time, Sydney by 2 at half time. These are valuable points for the Capitals in the final minutes of this third term.
Makes the second.
Go, Flames, go.
Back to 4 points.
Important shots there from Bunton. So we're back down the other way. They need to bring that defense they had in the first half as Willoughby. And she might have been fouled.
Definite whistle by the referees. I think she'll go to the free throw line. Let's look at it again. Switching defense, Button finds her way onto her. Burrell then finds her way back and gets called for the foul.
Gets the first.
Minute 59 to play.
So 2 minutes left in this third term. Willoughby makes it 2 from 2.
Wow, she's classy.
So margin back out to 6 points. Is Swain. Can she find another 3? Not this time. Clark into the action for the Flames with a rebound. Off to Willoughby.
Look like the Sydney Flames are in a bit of zone there. Bit of confusion defensively. Shyla Hill puts it on the deck and the foul called.
That foul is on the Capitals. Number 5.
Shyla Hill, 16 points for the evening, including 6 rebounds and 5 assists. She's been as reliable and impressive as ever.
Great play off the ball screen there. Fakes that she's going to use it, rejects the screen and goes hard to the baseline.
Here's Melbourne. Off to Munga. Swain. Burrell has lost the handle on it. And it will be a Flames ball. Burrell pleaded her case.
That hurts. Can they dig in defensively? Maybe some fatigue errors. Pressure's on. 6th game in 10 days.
They look tired.
Sorry, 20. Can't be 10 days. That would be ridiculous. 20 days.
They are looking a little tired as Heel gives it to Froling. Heel gets it back.
Shakes and bakes. Can't get rid of Munga.
Again, that combination, we see it. Froling couldn't get the finish on that occasion, but does win the rebound.
Referees have called a foul on Jade Melbourne, I believe.
Number 5, Jade Melbourne, her 4th personal.
The 4th personal foul for her. That hurts. What does Coach Kristenville do? Do you sit her down? Do you let her play out the game? It's just over a minute to go in this third quarter. Your team down 7. Opposition at the free throw line. Keely Froling nails that first one. Boy, she's been impressive today, particularly on the boards.
Only shoots at 68% for free throws, however, gets many of them. 54 leading into this game, so she gets those 2. So a new game high lead, 9 points to the Flames as we're into the final minute of the third term. Can Swain light the spark for the Capitals? They need some energy. They need something to happen. She does go herself. Bounces off the rim, Froling with the rebound. And they're really starting to take control now, the Flames. Heel. Gets it back from Froling.
Seen some adjustment on the ball screen now with Bunton onto Keely Froling, playing off that ball screen a bit. Hill puts it on the floor, downhill, can't make the basket.
Final 20 seconds. Munga with ball in hand. To Kalia, who's come on for the Capitals. She makes the drive and picked up a foul in the process.
big play. Can she convert the free throws? Excellent three-point shooter and free throw shooter. Willoughby called for the little foul there. Claire's seeing these last few seconds of this third quarter with Jade Melbourne sitting down with 4 fouls.
And as was the case last time they played, Jade Melbourne racked up those fouls and had to manage her time in the end. Important shots for Kalia. She's done well. 7 points the margin. Here's their time for more points to the Flames as Heel can't make it count, but Clark
basket
does make it count.
Keely Froling, wow. On the three-quarter time buzzer with the putback, massive.
So at three-quarter time, it's been an impressive quarter for the Flames. They lead 57-48 to the Capitals, who have all the work to do in the final term, Carrie Graf.
Yeah, that they do. Look, the Sydney Flames just, shot the ball exceptionally well again in that third quarter. Got the shots they wanted to get. They got mismatches down low. Keely Froling got, found guards on her a lot of the time, found scores inside. 11-point margin. It's going to be a tough one to claw back from here. 6 games in 20 days. This is their 6th game in 20 days. Fourth quarter against a team they've been in the contest with. Shyla Hill and Keely Froling were the 2 again for the Sydney Flames that just UC Capitals didn't have an answer for.
So they outscored, Sydney Flames outscored UC 21 points to 14 in that third term. So UC led by a point at quarter time. Sydney flipped the script late in the second to lead by 2 at the half. Now they have a commanding 9-point lead at the final change. Your top scorers for each side for Sydney, as we've mentioned, Froling and Heel have combined for 34 points, 17 each. They've been absolutely fantastic and such a dynamic duo that has been hard to stop. And for the Capitals, Swain had 14 points at half-time. She's up to 16, so just the 2 in that quarter. And Bunton as well, the next best with 11, as we see some of the key stats to three-quarter time.
Yeah, look, and it's balanced out, hasn't it? Look at the shooting percentages. Caps were at 41% at halftime. That's dipped down to 36. Again, maybe a bit of fatigue, maybe a bit of tighten up on the defense from the Sydney Flames. Points in the paint, Sydney Flames 22. I'm going to say Keely Froling's had about 18 of those 22 in the paint. She's been superb. A lot of work for the UC Capitals to do, particularly can they chip away at this little margin at the start of this fourth quarter, put it all on the line. Let's see how Kristen Veal starts. Does she throw Jade Melbourne back in, who's on 4 fouls? Nope, she's opted to go with Kalea.
So how do they get it done, Carrie Graf? Can the Capitals come back in this final term, or do we think Sydney can maintain their momentum?
Yeah, they've got to look after the ball. They had a couple of loose turnovers that hurt them a bit. I think they need to adjust some of what they're doing when they're switching, getting mismatched in the post. Can they either tidy up their trapping down there, or do they go to a full front? But they've got to try and change a few schemes and unsettle it. Burrell says, I can help offensively. Let me put the ball on the floor and get us a basket.
And that's a great start to the Capitals. Burrell adds 2 to their tally. Margin back to 7. Here's Rowe for the Flames. Now to Mungaka here. Back to Willoughby. We know she can do just about anything. Works her way to the basket.
Wow, her hesitations, her change of pace is superb. She stands her man up, then goes past, can play a number of different gears. Hard to defend when she does that.
Here's Kalia to the action for the Capitals. Nice handoff to Pizzi. But just couldn't find the finish.
Let's go, Sydney, let's go.
Froling to Willoughby.
Going inside again to the mismatch. They just take a switch that they want. Froling decides to spit it back out. As Mangaka here puts it on the deck, throws it back to Froling, gets her own rebound, pads her stats. Keely Froling, wow.
She's impressive to watch.
Just gritty.
In career best form, and she's getting the job done again for her side this evening. Here's Kalia to Burrell. working against Rowe. And that is another great finish from Burrell.
You see Capitals are finding a way to score through Burrell. It's this end, they've got to get the job done. Can they stop Froling on the interior? Can they keep her off the glass? Can they keep the ball out of Shyla Heal's hands? Well, they don't have to. She's on the floor at the moment. Can they stop this lady on the penetration? Can they not get stood up by her?
Clark from the corner knocks it down. That does hurt. You summed it up in one word, Carrie Graf. Ouch. Munga, the Capitals desperately need to find some magic. The lead is now out to 12.
The referee deemed that Manga Kahea stepped in, got in underneath Munga. The risk for the UC Capitals here is that they start to go individual. They need to stick together defensively as a unit, offensively at the other end. They're not going to get it done going one out.
How have you seen Sydney's progression this season? Of course, as we mentioned, you know, 2 wins to their name, both coming against UC, but they've had some, you know, been in some other games as well, really been in amongst some of the best teams in patches during other games.
Yeah, and for them too, they've had adversity. You know, they lose for good reason. Kalani Purcell for family reasons, pregnant. That's wonderful for her. But when you lose your starting centre at the start of the season, and then your young guard, young import post Shervin, then, you know, who came out to play off the bench has to come in and start. That's tough. You know, plus they had a tough schedule to start the season, played a lot of the top teams, played on the road a lot. So they've had to, you know, they've battled with that. I think they've, you know, Shane Hill coached teams play out games, and they've got, like I said, they've got the big three. Shyla Hill, Jocelyn Willoughby and Keely Froling can score in numerous ways. You know, they bring grit, they bring basketball IQ, you know, so they've, you know, they'll upset some teams. You know, right now they're in the box seat to win this one. Let's see if the UC Capitals can make a little run here and peg back this 10-point lead as we see Willoughby not take it on then with Munga.
Here's Heel for a long-range 2. Can't get it to drop. Bunton with the rebound, gives it off to Melbourne, who's back onto the court for the Capitals. Swings it across to Munga.
Spoke about at halftime, could the UC Capitals hold the flame to a score in that 70-75? You know, right now they're back on track for potentially a, you know, 75-80 point ball game. It's still got to happen at the defensive end for the UC Capitals as Shanice Swain tries to pass it to Alex Bunton off the backboard. She'll claim that that was an assist attempt.
Here's Heel. Back into the action for the Flames, off to Munga Kahia. 3 attempt and misfires, but the Flames get it back again.
Bunton with a defensive rebound tap out, couldn't quite get her hands on it, tried to tap it out to a teammate. Could gain possession for her team as Sydney Flames set up on the side out of bounds. Referees want to have a chat about something. A shot clock reset. Back to 14 seconds. Said it wasn't a change of possession.
Rhoda inbound to Shervin, to Willoughby. Now back to Heel. It's been one of their best this evening. Off the window. As easy as you like.
Shane Hill, the daughter of Shane Hill, Shyla Hill, rejects that screen, takes the baseline drive.
Here's Burrell trying to manufacture something, and has manufactured a foul.
Suckered that one.
Had 3 to beat and did it well in the end.
You see Jade Melbourne back on the floor for the UC Capitals, sitting on 4 fouls. Kira Rowe had her hands on.
Time to go to work. How loud can we get it?
So Ray Burrell, 27 points, which was a season high against Sydney last week. Just the 2 against Southside 2 nights ago. Sinks that one.
Well, you gotta get it loud.
She's had some moments. She's hit some big plays.
10
offensively.
Points, 4 rebounds this evening. 2 from 2 as you see some of the top scorers. Yeah, 19 each for Heel and Froling. They've just been unstoppable. Capitals haven't found an answer for those two. One of the impressive things about Sydney is that you get Willoughby, who's on screen now. She can also bob up and sink a long range 2. Won't count, I don't think.
You know, and it's hard, how do you call Willoughby the third wheel when you've got those two? I mean, what a third wheel if she is such. But, you know, you see there hesitate, pull up, smooth. Beautiful play off that ball screen. Rising star in the WNBA. She was a 10th pick in the 2020 draft. She plays at New York Liberty, coached by Australian Opals coach Sandy Brondello.
Here she is again, Willoughby. Gives it off to Froling.
Sizing up her options was Froling.
And they've coughed it up, so a chance for the Capitals back the other way. Kalia finds Smart, who sets herself but can't finish off. Now the Flames through Willoughby. Munga Kahia back down the other end. Wants an option in Froling. Gives it back to Heel. Happy to be patient.
A switch, a mismatch down low. Munga finds a way to shake that loose. It was dangerous for the UC Capitals. They had mismatch down low with Froling, but good defense by Munga to come up with it.
Good hustle. So 10 points the margin, 5 minutes to play in the final term as Smart gives it, tries to give it off to Burrell, but Heel with the steal and the finish.
Like the sound of that. Heel with the steal. Wow.
Just about sums up the night.
Yeah, she just sat back, waited for that pass to come. Well read by Shyla Heel. Takes her tally to 21 for this game. Kristen Veal wants to talk it over, and that they need to do. Down 12, just under 5 minutes to go in this game.
So this timeout is brought to you by Aussie Hoops. If your little one is dreaming of being a basketball star of the future, then the Aussie Hoops program is for you. It's had its biggest year to date with over 42,000 participants registering to a local Aussie Hoops centre nearby. Whether your little one has been a basketball fan from day one or looking to get out there and give it a go, they'll have an absolute ball of a time with Aussie Hoops. So register now at aussiehoops.basketball. So we're into the last 5 minutes of this contest at Qudos Bank Arena. And the Flames, who led at three-quarter time by 9, maintain their advantage in the last. It's all or nothing now for the Capitals.
That it is. What can they do in this next 2 or 3 minutes? Can they get this lead back under 6, give themselves a sniff, a chance, you know, or does it go the other way? They're on the road against Sydney, third time they've played this team in since December the 10th.
They've got a tough run. UC's next 5, obviously Sydney tonight. Then they play Townsville, Bendigo, Melbourne, and then Bendigo again. So a tough run coming up for the Capitals. And for Sydney, they take on Perth, Adelaide, Townsville, and Southside in their next 4 games. So potentially a chance maybe to steal a win there. Meantime, Burrell can't find the finish. And Munga Kahia work it up the floor. Gives it to Shervin. Now to Heel.
Again with their switching defense, UC Capitals, Shyla Heel puts it on the rim, floats that one over the front of the rim. She's up to 23.
Running out of ways to describe what a star Shyla Heel is. Burrell to Kalia, and now Bunton. Munga sets herself and sinks it. Great shot.
They needed that little boost. Can they get a defensive intensity boost? Desperate for a win, the UC Capitals.
Lost their first 10 to start this WNBL season. As we count down towards the new year. Meanwhile, Munga Kahia for a long range 2.
They're feeling it now. The gates, it's dangerous. Will the floodgates open?
And they're playing with confidence. At the moment are the Flames. Kalia to Bunton. Now back to Burrell. From outside the arc, bounces out. Flames ball.
Munga couldn't keep that one alive. Sydney Flames play more of a packing style man-to-man, sitting in the gaps. Timeout again on the floor.
So So the margin now out to 13. It was UC by a point at quarter time, Sydney by 2 at the half, by 9 at three-quarter time. It's been a pretty impressive second half performance by Sydney. Heel up to 23 points and Frolling with 19. They've been sensational. Swain leading with 16 for the Capitals and Burrell with 12. Melbourne, 5 fouls to her name.
Yeah, tough one too. I thought the UC Capitals button, started well. She was inside. They were getting inside touches. We see her now not in top scorer. She had 9 to half-time, most of those in the first quarter. Keely Frolling, wow, hasn't she been impressive with a double-double? 19 points, 12 rebounds. And we talked about that big three for the Sydney Flames, Shyla Hill, Keely Frolling and Jocelyn Willoughby. How dare I call her the third wheel? But that big three, my goodness, they've been impressive today, doing what they do well. Shyla Hill impressive with the ball in her hands off the ball screen action, finishing inside, hitting the big threes. Keely Frolling, inside finishes, offensive boards, grit. And then Willoughby with the ball in her hand, shake and bake, moving people's feet. She's been an impressive poised scorer.
How much of this performance do you think is, or this game rather, is the Capitals maybe losing their way in the second half, or the Flames really lifting their performance in the second half?
Yeah, look, I think a bit of both. I think once the momentum, Sydney got that momentum just leading into that. They were down 4 or 5 going to half-time. They had a couple of big threes against the zone. That sent them into half-time. It was a 1-point ball game, and they just kept the momentum from there. They hit big shots. There hasn't been a big run from the Caps, haven't been able to get a run to either nudge their nose in front or get it back within a basket. And certainly a bit of fatigue. I think there's no question that third quarter, maybe the, little bit of fatigue set in there in the third quarter. But credit to Sydney, they've executed exceptionally well as we see Shervin isolate down low, put her man on her back.
Almost the important little wins within games, particularly for Sydney. So just that, you mentioned that last 5 minutes of that second quarter, you can kind of tell they really dug in, and just to get their noses in front at half-time, I think was really important for them to set themselves up for this lead late here in the game. But that'll really please the coaching staff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, like I said, their offensive execution, they've managed to attack the switches where they can, play, attack different ball screen defensive schemes that the UC Capitals have thrown at them. They've been exceptional in this third quarter in particular.
So final 3 minutes of the final term as Kalia sends it out to Swain, who adds another 3 to her tally. She had 4 in the first half, make it 5 for the evening.
Yeah, she went a little quiet too, and that's the thing, who's on the floor at what times, what do they need, as we see Shyla Hill still feeling it. Another 3 takes her tally to 26 points on the game.
She refuses to have the spotlight taken away from her from Hill. Every time we see the Capitals do something fantastic at one end, she just bobs up at the other end. Kalia
tries to answer.
Couldn't do so. Clark now off to Hill. Back to Clark. Oh, that is far too easy. Is there a bit of call?
Travel called, I think.
Yeah,
referee
everyone
deemed
stopped.
she took off too quick.
Why?
She was in a hurry to get on the scoreboard. No, she wasn't. She's already on the scoreboard. A hurry to get a score at that point in time. Burrell,
I think she wore some contact. She made that too. I think she's off to the line.
As we see it again, ball screen action, Pizzy. Shervin perhaps with a little follow through on that attempted challenge.
Makes it count.
2 minutes to play, 10 down. Can the UC Capitals, if they got one little run in them here, looking to trap that? Getting aggressive defensively. Having one last crack at it.
Can Hill add to her tally? This time passes it off to Frolling.
Those two again know each other well now, having played a couple of seasons together, involved in a lot of the action.
Shyla Hill has beaten her season high. She scored 22 points against UC last week, including 8 rebounds and 6 assists, and now she's up to 26 points this evening. So the last couple of games against Capitals has been dynamite.
Keely Frolling converts the first. takes her tally to 20 and 13 rebounds. Strokes the second.
So it's all going the Flames' way at the moment. Their lead is out to 12 points. We're into the final 2 minutes of the fourth, as we head to another timeout. So the Flames on their way towards back-to-back wins for the first time this season. Their third overall, and unless a miracle happens for the Capitals, it will be a third win for the Flames against the Capitals this season.
Yeah, and in just a few weeks, you know, they know each other well. They know the scouting report. They played in Canberra on the 10th of December, back here in Sydney a week ago, and now here they are in their third contest for the season in just a matter of weeks. Just defensively.
And moving forward, where do you see the improvement coming from for the Capitals? I mean, we do talk about it. It is important to note that they haven't had a settled lineup for most of the season. Is there anything that's really screaming out to you that they need to improve on?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's got to be at the defensive end, and we've seen them here tonight. They're playing small ball, so they start with Munga in the 4 spot, and she's a perimeter player. So their tactic there is they're playing switching, and then coming to maybe double team the post. They've got to tidy up some of the defensive components of that style of defense. I think it's the small things defensively, and then they've just got to stay with it when they're losing momentum. And easier said than done. You're losing momentum. You've been in this situation before. You're in games. You lose some momentum in the third or in the fourth. And it's hard not to, drop your head and think, oh no, here we go again. But they just got to stay tough. The coaching staff will keep working with them. They've got Schwagmeier to maybe add in a little bit. Enough people at practice now to train, hopefully no more injuries. It's just, it never rains, it pours sometimes in seasons. You get injury after injury, and then other seasons you have teams and you're barely injured and you can roll through. So challenge for them, but they've just got to stay focused, work on the development of the players that will stay on the roster for next year and see if they can upset some teams on the way.
I guess the positive for the Capitals is that they can show that great defensive work in patches. Their first half was exceptional.
And I think then it's making adjustments. Other teams will adjust to how you're playing. So, have you got something else in your back pocket? Can we do something different? So it's attack and counter attack, and one way is not going to always get it done. You've got to be ready to go to your next scheme or your next plan, which Sydney has certainly done a good job at coming out with second attacks and offensive counters to different schemes.
As we see Rotunno into the action, scoring her first points this season. Played a couple of minutes last week against UC, now onto the floor, and got herself a free throw a few moments ago. So down the other end, Swain adds 2. And as we get another timeout, so great to see Lily Rotunno, 18 years of age, hailing from the Gold Coast. And we just saw a little bit of a roar from the crowd when she made that free throw. So great to see her get her first points.
Yeah, absolutely. Home fans and own teams love it when a rookie gets on, makes their first basket in the WNBL, or gets a chance to play when the game's maybe a little out of touch, which you'd assume it is now here for the UC Capitals. Shane Hill, happy to throw his bench in, give them some opportunity and see what they can do.
So a minute to play here in this final quarter. Flames leading by 11. They led by 9 at three-quarter time. And the Capitals have plenty to work on in the second half of the season. Can't believe it's already halfway through the season already. But shaping up to be an exciting second half of this Cygnett WNBL season. So last minute of play. Capitals.
They make something happen defensively here. Shake it loose.
Just find something to work on for next week, or next year, should I say.
Double teaming. Intensity's up.
Menapar into the action. Here's Rotunno for 3. Not quite.
Sydney have cleared their bench. They got their entire bench on.
here's Allen. Gives it off to Panousis. Running it down the floor. We'll get it back. That's Bowyer out there as well. Onto the court. She'll get it now from the corner. Can she sink a three? Just a little offline.
Panousis, will they play out for a last shot? Ball screen for Menapea.
Here's Rotunno, the teenager. Just can't quite find the basket. They've had a couple of goes at it in these final moments. Swain. Travel. That's unlucky. 0.9 of a second left on the clock. Someone take the Hail Mary shot. They'll run it out. So it's been an impressive performance from the Sydney Flames. They notch up their third win of the season. First time this season with back-to-back wins. They beat the Capitals 81-70. Shyla Heal was absolutely sensational for the Flames. She finished her evening with 26 points, including 6 rebounds and 7 assists. And it was a 1-2 punch with Keely Froling, who was also outstanding with 21 points, a double-double, 13 rebounds as well. Capitals simply had no answers for those two, Carrie Graf.
No, you're right, they didn't. They were, and they did what they do well. Shyla Hill was exceptional off the ball screen play, made some big three-point shots, got some little step backs, rejected the screen often. Keely Froling was just dominant on the glass. She was superb offensively, got her team some putbacks, got down deep early, found a way to finish, switching defense. She got trapped a little bit early, but found a way to finish in traffic, found a way often to get herself down low against a smaller guard and find a way to score. Then we saw her step out and hit some threes as we see the full-time stats there. Pretty even in terms of shooting percentage. The Flames go 11 of 30 from the three-point line at 37%. Capitals, on the other hand, just 7 of 20. Most of those were Shanice Swain. Rebound count nudged Sydney Flames' way, assists their way as well, and the points in the paint, that was a big, led by Keely Froling for the Sydney Flames.
Absolutely, and for UC, their top scorers, as we mentioned, Swain, she was fantastic. She had 14 points at halftime, including 4 three-pointers, finished with 5 of the game, 5 from 9. She was great for her side. 21 points to her name at full-time, and Burrell finished with 15, among her as well, up to 13 in the end.
Yeah, it was, look, there was contributions. I mean, we talked about the big three from the Sydney Flames, but Manga Kahir came in and was impressive defensively. We saw her getting in the lane, but that woman on screen was tough, Keely Froling. Burrell found a way to score individually quite a few times, as we see there. Shyla Hill, boy, she was impressive. We talked about rejected screens, put the ball on the floor. And then Willoughby, wow, she was smooth and sweet at times, used her hesitation, used her athleticism. But Shyla Hill led the way from the front. 26 points for her tonight. Massive.
When you weigh it all up, Carrie Graf at UC led by a point at quarter time, trailed by 2 points at half time. They only lost the final term, if my math is correct, by a couple of points. 24-22, I think it was. It really was just that third quarter when they were outscored 21 points to 14 that actually did it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, often you talk about the third quarter as a championship quarter. It's, you get a chance to gather your breath at halftime. The coaches make some adjustments, and how well can you come out in that third quarter and do what you did in the first half, and then make adjustments to what the other team are doing.
So take a look at the games to come. Straight up after this, Perth take on Adelaide over there in the West. That's going to be a great game to watch. And then Townsville and Melbourne on New Year's Eve. A couple of ripping games to finish off round 8 of the Cygnett WNBL.
Yeah, they'll be big ones. Perth and Adelaide later tonight. The teams in 5th and 6th. Adelaide have been so close to the top teams. Came off a big overtime game earlier this week. And Townsville and Melbourne, what a cracker that's going to be. Close to the top of the table clash, it's going to be an absolute ripper.
And the perfect way to end the year. So you're sticking around for the doubleheader, so make sure you stay tuned for that coming up next. But on behalf of myself, Jess Webster, Carrie Graf, and our entire production team, we hope you've enjoyed the coverage. Have a wonderful new year, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks for your company.